Mr. Chairman, yes, the country had the opportunity in 2018 to host the African Games come 2023. His Excellency the President has since inaugurated the local organizing committee, and the local organizing committee, as part of my preparation towards this August House, I've met them for briefings. They have started setting up subcommittees to look at how human capital development, because the idea is that we don't just want to host the African Cup of Nations without winning medals. So we are, apart from that, they are also setting up a subcommittee to look at the infrastructure development. We are going to put up, given the opportunity, an Olympic village. And the Olympic village will come with facilities which, after the Games, will be served as a university for sports development. So, Mr. Chairman, yes, we are very focused. Government is committed to host the best ever African Games in the country.
What is this University for Sports Development? Is that the plan of the ministry?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's the plan of the ministry per the briefing I've gotten. And even when His Excellency the President was inaugurating the local organizing committee, the President made an emphatic statement that after the Games, we will use the facility to establish a university for sports development. That will be the second university in the whole of Africa. And in Africa,
we had one at Winneba. What happened to it? Is that the same thing, the one at Winneba?
The one at Winneba, this is going to be an entirely new facility that we are going to put up for the Games. But after the Games, we have to utilize the facilities. And the government policy is that we will turn the facility into a university for sports development.
Yeah, that's Honorable Mustapha Ussif, the Sports Minister Designate, facing the Appointments Committee and telling us what he's got. It's extra time, and we have to talk about what we saw there quickly before we get into a big discussion with the Hearts and Asante Kotoko on whether we've done enough. Coach Christian Neville is joining me in studio. How are you doing, Coach? You good?
Very well, George.
Joining me on Zoom, as always, is Seydou Adamu. Seydou Adamu, how are you doing? How is Koforidua? Have you seen any of the flowers so far?
I came very late last night, so I'm unable to
You're
see
unable,
any of them.
so you haven't seen the flowers yet?
Tell him that.
No, I've not seen them.
Knowing him very well, whether he went there early or very late,
He will still see the flowers. You didn't see the flowers. Why? When you were driving, you didn't see anything. Why you didn't see flowers?
I didn't see flowers. I'm yet to go and see flowers.
Your hotel to no garden, no flowers there.
I'm yet to see them.
Seydou, I mean, what was your main thing? What jumped at you when you watched the whole vetting of the Sports Minister Designate? What did you make of him right from there?
Yeah, so I was a bit surprised with the level of confidence the minister had in going to that ministry.
Yeah,
it looks a small ministry, but it has lots of troubles. The minister repeated the word engagement over 1,000 times.
yeah.
All the questions that he was asked, he said he was going to engage. And it quickly took me to 2001 when Malala Misa went to the vetting. All the questions that was asked him, he said, I will consult. If he was asked a question, he said, I will consult.
I'll consult.
Yes, so which meant he was going to consult or going to engage. I feel that the minister should have come with a specific blueprint, a specific plan for the youth subsector and the sports subsector. Because I feel if you take the 4 years of Isaac Esiama, he channeled almost 90% of the resources to infrastructure development. So I felt this minister was going to be specific on a certain direction that he was going to take in terms of bringing the disparity between the youth subsector and the sports subsector at par. But I didn't see that much of that. And I was also surprised when he maintained the annual confirmation of I'll be a minister for all sports. This must be emphasized that no sports minister in Ghana can be minister for all sports. You either be 80% football, in fact, you either be 70% Black Stars minister, 20% football minister, then 10% sports minister. And these are facts that are backed by data that no minister can be minister for sports in Ghana, because already the convention is that 90% of resources goes to football. And of that 90%, about 80% goes to Black Stars alone. And so how are you going to be minister for sports when the other sporting disciplines and federations hardly receives any subvention from the ministry? And I'm struggling to appreciate and understand how he's going to do that. Well, it's really going to be difficult. Really terrible.
Did the vetting come a bit too early for him, considering his background? Did it come a bit too early for him?
I don't think it came too early, because he was mentioned, or he was given the nod in somewhere in December. So he had a lot of time to study. And in fact, let me also say, this is a person who worked with the National Service Secretary, which is mainly youth-centered. And so if you work with the National Service Secretary, it shouldn't be too difficult for you to work with the Ministry of Youth and Sport, because mainly their activities clashes at some point in time, because you have mainly the youth in the National Service scheme working around sporting facilities and working within sports discipline. So it shouldn't be that difficult to be able to migrate from the National Service scheme to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. In fact, in a well-established institution or country, the National Service Scheme, the YEA, the NIP, NEIP, and all those federations or institutions to fall under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, because the activities directly comes under youth subsector. And that's why I complained about how the ministry has been handled, because from President Kufuor's time, the ministry has not been stable. Moving it from Ministry of Youth and Sports and Education, adding it to the Manpower Development Ministry. At a point in time, it was split. The youth subsector was split from the sports subsector. And in fact, over the last 20 years, the Ministry of Youth and Sports has not been stable, but in terms of the ideologies from the various governments. And that makes it very difficult for any minister to succeed. So I was a bit surprised he maintained that he was going to be a minister for all sports.
Okay, Gela, let me come to you, Chris. What were your takeaways straight away when you watched it?
Look, to be honest with you, Seydou spoke about confidence. I think I saw that at the latter part.
At the latter part, when he started, it was a bit nervous.
But when he started, he was extremely, very nervous.
Yeah.
But of course, it is not about the things he said.
There.
It's about what he's capable, or what he actually would do. That is where my worry is. I've interacted with him twice, and I think I know him personally, but he may not recognize me when he sees me.
Yeah.
But from afar, I think he will do a decent job. He is that humble. He's very prepared and ready to learn. My only worry about him is that he tends to want to please almost everybody.
That could be a...
And for me, that could be the beginning of the end. If those in and around him don't actually guide him. Because look, when you are working for your country, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
And because it is a privilege, it isn't about to please yourself or do things the way you would normally do it. Because at the end of the day, the country's interest should be at hand.
Yep.
And whatever you do should yield dividend for the country. And in doing so, surely you will offend one or two people. Yeah. So be it.
Try to whip them in.
But at the end of the day, you have to be yourself and then be strict to whatever you have to do. Look, like Seydou said, it's a very, very small ministry. But it is a ministry that could easily bring an end to whatever dream the minister has. You and I know that over the years, is one of the ministry that have had people just pass through like that as ministers. I've been looking at what he shouldn't do. As for what he should do, I'm certain those around him would tell him that do this, do this, do this. But my problem is what he should never attempt to do. For that is the beginning of the end. If he tries zooming into those areas, then I don't think he will spend that much time there. I really do want him to succeed. He's somebody I support to succeed. What is it that he shouldn't do? First and foremost, he shouldn't leave these uncompleted sports facilities that Esiama built the way they are. Within his first year, we are in February, March soon to start. By October, November, all these sporting facilities should be completed, because you and I know that their date for completion is long gone.
Bad, yeah.
And if you look at the fact that Esiama did promise that there was funds available, if the man said, look, the money is there, it means there was no reason why they shouldn't have met their deadlines. Now we are, so first thing, sort that out. The second thing which he shouldn't do, which to me has been the downfall of most of
sports ministers,
is that whenever our national teams, especially the Black Stars, they do give a fantastic analysis that don't be a Black Stars minister. Whenever the Black Stars qualifies to a major tournament, he should be bold enough to tell his colleagues in parliament that this is not the time for you guys to vacate your position and follow the national team or at the expense of the state. I'm telling you, that is the main reason why Honorable Esiama could not give you and I the budget breakdown to what happened in Egypt. And that is the main reason why the opposition, NDC, look, they've got formidable sportsmen. Honorable Neelante van der Poel. That is why they couldn't also what? Push to compel Honorable to bring the breakdown, because they know that if they were to push him, some of his people will be made. Look, the money was spent on A, B, C, D from up. He should not do that, because, and look, it is time that as journalists, as people of this country, when our national team qualify for a major tournament, we should point out to the parliamentarians that you sit in parliament. Now that it is 137, we don't expect any of them to follow any of our national teams anywhere, apart from the sport. Even the sports minister himself, you should be very careful, because when certain issues are being discussed and they have to come down to vote, if he's not there, nobody will vote for him. So he should not do that. Because when these people follow the national team,
there are a lot of problems.
The food they eat, the place they sleep, whatever they do, wherever they go, it is at the expense of the taxpayer. And they go there, and you know that, look, when they go there, we know the sort of things they do. I will not say it here. They don't do anything in the interest of the national team. Rather, they go and they enjoy. We shouldn't do that. That is one of the things he shouldn't do, because look, those cash, one of the biggest problems of the ministry is raising of funds. You know that the budget is woefully inadequate. This is something that Seydou in particular has been talking about all over. You see, the budget is inadequate. So why as a country would you as a minister support the idea or tell your government that when we are going for a major tournament, bring us money to go and spend of people who we are already taking care of good? You understand what I'm saying? So that is something that he should never do. And then, thirdly, before Seydou gets another opportunity, is that he should be very selective in your people.
The kind of journalist.
The kind of journalist he associates himself with. He cannot be the friend to all of them. People like you who will not sell your integrity. People like Seydou who will not kowtow to anything of his are the sort of people he should have by himself. People like Nathan Kwao, and people who will not be afraid, people who've got proper platform to tell him that, look, young man, it is this way or you forget it.
That's right.
In the interest of Ghana, if you do it this way, we will not take it lightly from you. And he should be he spoke about the Australian report should be made available. I just want to give him a simple advice. He talks about that at cabinet, he will lose his job. Because you and I know the report is out.
It's out, yes.
Why hasn't the report been released? Because it is the government of the day that have decided that they will not release that Australian report to the people of this country. Because it is damning. If that report were to come out today, I'm telling you, it is one of the reasons why Esiama was not maintained, Honorable Esiama was not maintained as a sports minister. So I like the question by the vetting committee on that issue. And when he said that he want the report to be released, he will inform, look, you don't go and say that at cabinet.
Don't say that. You've been in trouble. I think you made great points there. We will let on, Ayala and the Papa who wants to join us, because we'll be just rolling over slightly from this one and moving to our topic for the main one. But, oh, good. Just as I said, Ayala is already here. Ayala, how are you doing?
Good, George.
Good.
What about you?
I'm great. Let me give Seydu the final talk. The final point on this one, and then we'll roll straight into our proper discussion segment. And Seydu, just a question on this one. I want to know that if Mustapha Ussif is going to be successful, is it going to be more about his backroom staff and the advisors rather than him based on his background?
Will he be successful? To put his vetting into the right perspective, I wasn't convinced one bit. I wasn't. I know we don't have time, so I will touch on.
Oh no, you can go ahead. I've matched it, so we'll flow it.
Yeah. Good. Now I will start from the insert that you played.
Yeah.
The part he was talking about a sports village after the African Games in 2023. I saw that in the MPP's manifesto. I saw a similar promise in the NDC's manifesto. Now, George, as a journalist, if you want to know if that promise is not just a political gimmick, but indeed it's a reality that the government beholds that vision to get us a sports development university, the first question you ask yourself is that in any educational institution, there are people we train to come and train others.
Yeah.
So if we get the sports development university, let's ask ourselves, after 2023, have you ever heard the government telling us that they've already, in association with the Scholarship Secretariat, the GS and other bodies, have enrolled people in let's say, school in Leicester or any advanced learning on sports to go and train them so that when the university set up, you have people who are already certified to train people as university lecturers? There is none. So who are going to be the lecturers and the administrators of that university? We don't have any in the country. How many sports psychologists do we have? 2. The last guy said that list I saw from the Psychology Association of Ghana. So who are we training? Who have we, in terms of capacity building, have we invested?
So like there's no plan. And I think he there's a question that came in from I think that the appointments vetting or the appointments committee chairman. He was making an interesting question. He said that, but is it the same thing like Winneba, or is it going to be better than Winneba? What? Yeah.
And he wasn't even on top to say the
yes.
is for soccer.
For soccer,
you get it. Yes. Even with that one, yes, we can have few people we've trained to train people with soccer, but we are talking about a whole sports development center. And in this world, there are not much in terms of higher learning institutions that deals with sports administration or sports infrastructure maintenance and all those things. And I'm saying that I saw this in the MPP manifesto. I saw similar in the NDC manifesto. Now the minister designate goes to the vetting and says, this is our plan. But for us to really assess the plan and say, this is a reality in terms of what we can achieve.
Where have you gotten to in the plan? Because it's already.
What have we done? Because we are talking about university, and university will need certified people to train the students that we send into that school. We don't have
because we are just 2 years away. We are just 2-3 maximum.
Yeah, because Ayala makes a point. Ayala makes a point and says that it's already a manifesto. You don't make it appear like it's a plan.
No, it isn't.
So you say that Mr. Chairman,
fulfilling the manifesto.
You said that yes, in fulfilling the manifesto, you quote 1 or 2, and we know that it's coming from it. Wow.
Exactly. Now the second thing, Coach Nemli mentioned our biggest problem in sports as funding. Now, as a minister designate, you've been asked about betting. Then his initial answer is that he's a Muslim who doesn't control his religion to betting, and that you consult the gaming commission on whatever he wanted to mean. I didn't get it. But George, today in this kind of dispensation, every well-meaning sports nation are getting some sound amount of cash,
good money
from betting companies,
from
betting companies in their country,
and lotteries and all that.
Yes, I've not seen any business plan around betting companies and sports lottery. And if you are a minister designate, you've had the opportunity at a vetting, and you are asked straight about betting companies. The best answer you could give is that you have a business plan around them. You will increase their taxes, and it will be channeled straight into sports development fund. Simplicity. That was a big opportunity for us to know this is a minister who has something different to offer the country. But the answers he tried to give were just so shambolic. Now let me end with the Blasters bonuses and national team bonuses. I think Honorable Neil Adebanapoy asked him that. According to the minister, he says he is now going to consult with the finance ministry, the FA, and even the attorney general to have a blueprint of how much the country will be ready to pay.
We already have that.
So that we go by it. Now, it tells me there is someone who's not well vested in sports in this nation to even have an institutional memory of what this subject matter has brought in terms of the apathy of the citizenry to our national teams. Now, George, in 2016, when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was pushing for the sports bill to be passed, those who were drafting the act included, I think it was Section 18, which talks about the Public Interest Committee. And they stipulated that the functions of the Public Interest Committee was that any funding from government to any of our sporting federations, not only football, all the other sporting federations, will be decided by the Public Interest Committee. And the spirit behind that portion of the law was to tell every minister and everyone in charge of the ministry that, look, we've had issues with how the public reacts to how much we pay from the government consolidated accounts to these federations. So for us to bridge that gap, let's have a public interest committee where the public interest will be at the table when we are deciding these matters. How much are we supposed to give for the Blasters? How much are we supposed to give for the Cycling Federation in terms of international competitions and all that? Now, conspicuously missing, when the bill was passed, the Public Interest Committee was taken out of it. Now, if you are a minister and you know that since 2016, we've still not been able to solve that problem of bonuses and all what we put into in terms of our national teams, you just have to go back when you are being asked that, look, that portion that was missing and the spirit behind that portion was to bridge that gap between the public interest and how much we pay to our national teams. So for me, I think the right thing is to bring it back. The Public Interest Committee is one of the committees at the Ghana Football Association. And it's supposed to run through all the federations, including the main body, that is the ministry. So if you listen to his answers to key questions and the problems that we face in sports, he was so unconvincing. I wish him well. And I hope his consultations will be measured so that we can bring these things up to him. Then he will know probably where to pass solve our problems for us.
You know, when you haven't heard the review of sports review on the sports minister designate, you haven't heard. You are now hearing. Seydou. Seydou is here with me. Seydou is here with me. Seydou, so what? If he's going to succeed, is it going to be about the backroom staff that he's got rather than him? Because clearly, he I don't know what to say. He's not quite on top of matters, which is not too surprising.
Yes. Hi, George.
Yes. Seydou, can you hear me?
George.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I can hear you.
Go ahead, please.
Yes. I think that fortunately or unfortunately, he's got the opportunity to help in appointing one of the most critical officers of the ministry. That's the chief director. Because, unfortunately, the ministry lost their long-standing chief director. So one of the key persons that runs the ministry is the chief director. So if he's able to get a chief director that understands the system, it will be good for
that is the I can see Papa, because hold on, hold on. Papa Bogu has joined. Papa, are you cool? But we're setting up. Papa, are you okay? Okay, Papa is okay.
Very okay.
Okay, say this, please continue.
Okay.
I wanted him to do that.
I'm very okay.
Okay. Say please continue.
I'm very okay.
All right.
Very okay.
Papa, I'll come to you on the sports minister. But say please continue.
Yes, so like I was saying, whoever becomes the new director at the chief director of the ministry will play a key role in what this minister goes ahead to achieve, because we all know that the deputy ministers over the years hasn't helped the ministry in that, because they have not in any way helped in drafting or in formulating
policy.
You do recall in 2017 when Isaac Isiama took office, he formed that committee to be in charge of the sports fund and put his deputy in charge of that committee. And for over 4 years, nothing was done about that sports fund. So usually, I don't think the deputy ministers are of any great help to the minister and the ministry.
Right.
The persons I see are of great influence are the chief directors. And so if he's able to convince or he's able to liaise with the civil service department or a council to appoint a properly, in quote, well-versed sports person in that office, I think it's one of the ways he's going to succeed.
Right.
2, he's got to also collaborate properly with the federations and also with the National Sports Authority, because the National Sports Authority is a key institution or a key agency under the ministry, because the activities goes a long way to affect what the ministry does. And I think that these are the areas he needs to properly correspond with.
All right, thank you very much, Saidu. I think I'll allow you to go. There are flowers, sea flowers, come with flowers, and we'll speak later when you join us from Koforidua. My colleague Wallace is burying his mother this morning, and our condolences to the whole family and everybody. Those of us who could not be there are doing it via television. And so from the entire crew, everybody here on set, we wish you well. We wish everything goes on very well, and we're really sad at this. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Papa Poku, you have the last take on the sports minister designates vetting at the appointments committee. What did you make of it?
Well, it was quite intriguing from the inside out and then the outside in. From the inside out, because I was part of the team together with Jamaldeen, Abdullah, and the rest.
Yeah.
That put him into understanding issues at the ministry and prepare him for the vetting.
Yeah.
And then from the outside out, watching him deliver as a journalist, I was just sitting down looking at him. And I said, yeah, this is where we are as a country. The appointment of Ussif Mustapha is part of a coordinated plan aimed towards sustained infrastructural development. So I can say that the government is not going to depart from the core mandate of improving infrastructure and building human resource. Let me add that the government is not so interested in trophies and medals at this point in time. So we have an accelerated program that aims at sending development of sports down to the districts and into the communities. So, George, if you've observed, as we speak now, there is a nationwide recruitment exercise to various places by the National Sports Authority. And the aim of this is to make sure that the PE teacher for the secondary schools, district senior high school, if his expertise is volleyball, you will pick him and then he will be given additional responsibility with additional revenue as the district volleyball coach, and he'll be based at the nearest facility to the district. So in Doma Hinko like this, I know talks are far advanced to get the Doma Senior High School PE coach to be at the youth resource center that they've built at Doma. The reason is that we would want you to help build the capacity of the districts around Doma, the 3 Doma districts, West Doma, Central Doma Municipal, and then East Doma. But you come back to the answers he was given. I was a bit worried about the answer on the bus. because at some point he was even mentioning insurance and then police. And then I was like, really? Not after everything that we had told you. So what has insurance got to do with you owing somebody and the person seizing your bus?
Yeah.
What has the police got to do with that? But on the issue of public interest and the sports fund, it has come down to the government that unless we pinpoint specific interest, philanthropists, there is no way either than the government you can get a holistic development for the funding of sports. You look at the Hatramani brothers here, DG Hatramani. We have a hall named after him at the Accra Sports Stadium. He so much loved.
Hope we haven't lost Papa on that, have we? Okay. Papa's sound has gone off. Let's try and restore that. Papa, if you can hear me, let's see if you can restore your sound.
People with interest. I don't know if it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay now, yes.
People with interest. Okay, yeah. People with specific interest in certain sports. When Atab Mills was at Ghana Revenue, everybody knew him as a hockey player. Somebody like this, when you go to him for funding for some of these things, it helps. So it's either we identify specific philanthropists or institutional-based funding, Milo and Colts or juvenile football, VACO and school sports. Unless we do that. So
it's more about the government. It's more about the will of the government. More about the will of the government. You want to make the point.
Okay. That is it. That is it.
George, I don't know if I could
Ayala, you see, I want
something here.
Okay, quickly.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah, in May 2017, the framework committee for this sports fund was inaugurated. Dr. Keke Sapon, Dr. Banyako, and the rest. It's what I was saying. It comes from their initial reports as to how we could raise funds. And if that is what they've come up with, then what is the approach?
Yeah,
we lost.
I get you. I think it's
you see,
Papa, to hold on.
The biggest. Oh, okay.
Yeah. To make the point, I think that
the biggest indication of this was that in transition we brought KKs upon to head the Black Stars Management Committee. That was because he was the paymaster. He had the check. He had the purse. So government has seen that unless there's a specific approach, it will be difficult. So I know very well that he was taxed, Dr. Sapon and his committee, that if they could look at tax rebate coming into sport, okay, Gapoa, go and get that team back. Electricity company, go and get the Power FC team back. We will give you this tax rebate, and then you use it to fund sports, both at your club level and then bringing something into the national kitty. So it has become a specific issue.
I think it's clear.
Unless we do that, it's going to be a problem.
And I think it's also more about what government wants to do. Guys, let's move on to the next topic. In fact, Honorable Mustapha Ussif was supposed to be, extra view, but he's almost entered the main discussion. So we have 15 minutes to deal with how well we have marketed our game, the biggest game that's supposed to be the selling point of the Ghana Premier League. That's supposed to put us on the map. So I think 15 minutes, we can do something with this one. It's a pity though. We've dealt with the score lines in your predictions and whether Hassan Kotoko, but we just want to elevate the discussion pretty much. Coach Nebly, are we selling the game? Are we marketing this game? Are we putting it where we want to say this is the game that we used to put everybody around the world in the right track?
No. I mean, you and myself, we've witnessed Hassan Kotoko games in the past. Yes. This game that will be played tomorrow comes nowhere close. Maybe current situations in itself might have contributed to that. The COVID situation and then the fact that we can all watch the game from afar. We cannot actually get closer to the atmosphere and intensify it and get the people of this country to enjoy our version of the El Clasico. But that is due to what has happened. But look, the protagonists themselves are not doing anything to market the game. And when I say that, I mean the people at Hasselhoff, the people at Kotoko. Those days, when I'm going to watch a Hasselhoff Kotoko game, I want to go and watch Sir Cecil Jones Atikwefiu, the late. I want to go and see what he will be doing tactically. I want to go and see how Dieter Smith will counter whatever Sir Jones will do, and how the players are going to decode the tactical information given by their two tacticians.
Quite simply, there's nothing to market.
It is what it is. Because look at what is happening in Hearts of Oak. Elijah Kambi should be coaching now. He should be the head coach of Accra Suffolk, Elijah Kambi. With Dr. Nyao Tamaklo as his assistant.
On the touchline.
And then maybe the bank roller as the technical director at the top there. Because they could bring in a white coach, they could bring in an expatriate without giving him a valid contract. So he can walk out on them. And that becomes a whole story around the team for the past two to 3 weeks. And then a supporters chairman resigns, somebody who should actually be mobilizing the supporters and getting them to be very vociferous on the importance of this game, tendered in his resignation.
So
there's nothing to market.
Nothing to market.
That's absolutely. I don't know what to maybe.
Ayala, let's see what it goes. Ayala, anything to market?
I think because of COVID and because supporters will not be available at the stadium, it behoves on the TV rights holders, because they will be the center of attraction if you want to have any sort of engagement with the game. And I must say, I've not seen much. Yes, I've seen their countdown.
It's because they don't have anything.
Some simple publicity. But there should be much. It's Konoko and Has. Anything will sell. Anything. Gamma, Manaf, Radio Vuka or Imoro, anything will sell. Anything will sell. So I think per the circumstances that we find ourselves in, the real action should have come from the TV right holders in terms of how they could attract the fans to the game, and I've not seen so much. They've done something, but it's not up to the level I expect them. Then, as coach put it, look, it's a Koroko home game. They are the organizers of the event, and House of Folk should help them organize it. And I've not seen enough from those two teams. I think their concentration is on how to get their players prepared and all that, forgetting about the marketing aspect. But if you ask them, they say, look, if we put so much into marketing, who are we marketing the game to? The supporters will not be allowed to come. So if you go about hiking the euphoria and all that, they will not be allowed to come. So we make no money from the marketing point of view. So I think there have been a lot of things that has affected the euphoria around the team. But on the day, what will happen will happen.
Papa, same circumstances. Am I wrong in saying Kotoko Karela was hyped than this game?
You're not so wrong, especially that you decided to take a strong detour to the west and then bring us all the background stories. And I even enjoyed it. Personally, I'm telling you. But for the respect I have for the program and then the crew, I wouldn't have mentioned that name Super 2 or Super Clash. It's absolute, sorry for my language, nonsense. What is Super Clash? We have a Classico. It has a meaning. Merseyside Derby, Soweto Derby. All these things attach cultural importance to the location of the game. We have a game like this, and up till now, I'm as guilty as anyone. We've not been able to find a name that would market it. We call it Super Clash. What is Super Clash? There is enough we could do by name to identify Haas and Kotoko with Ghana, a specific incident between the two. We wouldn't be doing much wrong if you go back into the Battle of Katamanso between the Ghans and the Ashantis, and then try and fashion out a name that has a unique selling proposition or identity to this game. So I feel that Super Clash thing should be erased quickly. That name can't be. We can't call this top liner a Super Clash.
Yeah.
Every season brings protagonists to this game. Whether we like it or not, even at this point in time, there are some protagonists.
Yeah.
So we could still fashion the publicity around them. But how well are we doing that? Anna said the clubs think they won't get money. So there's no reason why they should be overly involved in the marketing. They could go into a private arrangement with StarTimes, hype this thing up, and you have no idea the number of people who would renew their subscriptions or get onto their online platform to prepare themselves for this game. Our friends sending me messages, calling me that how do they watch the game, because where they are in Europe, it appears the Star Times app is banned.
Huge opportunity to make money.
There is a huge opportunity there that we are all looking blindly at. But then again, the protagonists are Kotoko Hearts and then the broadcast rights holders and the FA. So it's difficult seeing it. But I genuinely feel that, yes, Sir Cecil is not there. Yes, Hans Detachment is not there. But not long ago, we had Mahatma Otu and Michael Akufu giving us a spellbinder.
Yeah.
Not long ago, we had Patrick Razak becoming a nemesis together with Winfo Kobna.
Yeah.
We all saw this. So whichever way you look at it, there are narratives we could use to hide this game. But the bigger problem is that even the name on the game doesn't exist.
Who's selling it?
Look, yes, I respect the idea that there are families who suffered from May 9th and wouldn't want to see those images back. But whether we like it or not, symbolically, May 9th has become a huge part of this game.
Yeah.
That if we get to the widows and find out how the youngsters who were born after the May 9th incident, when their parents have died, their fathers have died, are they still into football? Can we get them something to say? In Kumasi here, you could just pick a camera, go to Shomokwe of blessed memory, and Kwekwedu say Kanewu's house, and you get something on us. You go to the Kotoko side, and there is always a storyline somewhere. You only need to get Steve Nodru to speak about the 2001 game. You need somebody like Douglas Nkoma to speak about the 2005 game, playing for both sides of the coin. Yasechi is still alive. You could speak to him. There's absolutely nothing wrong with calling Dombote, interviewing him, and then showing videos of the winner he scored that free kick after the foul was committed by Keneta Betumami to win us the league title in 2004 when we played the Abridged League. So I genuinely feel that our rights holders, the FA and the two clubs, have not done enough, especially with identity, the symbolism, what this game holds. Now that we can't come to the stadium, this is the time that this game should go into our homes and educate us.
Opari is rather defending the board.
Can you imagine that?
Papa, this is a sad matter.
See, George, finally, I'm happy you are showing the Mahatma goal.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody sees it on the screen.
Yes.
George, my first taste of this game in Accra was in 97. I was so tiny, 97 or 98. The goals were traded by Joe Ansa and Dr. Yate.
Yeah, Emmanuel Yate.
Yate controlled some ball on his chest, I think about 30 yards out, and unleashed a spectacular volley. 1-0. Then Joe Ansa also replied with another long range one in equal measure.
Yes.
In 99, Isaac told Kumasi that they would give the money to Kotoko, but they would take the 3 points. They came here and Usman Ramadu and Desmond Amwa combined and scored. We can talk about that. Kotoko had not won in Accra since 1993 when Stephen Frimpong Manson scored that penalty. Frimpong Manson is still alive until they won under KK Stapo. There are always storylines around Kotoko Hearts.
So even 2016, there was
institutional memory lacking on the club side, but not the FA and our right holders. We are not doing enough with this game. We are not marketing it. You hear about Raja and Wak, you know we are talking about a particular country or city. You hear about Soweto Derby, Al Ali Zamalek, you know we are talking about something specific. We have a lot we can do. Not least Shambokwe Joe Debra, not least Prince Adupoku, and Asil the Way or Asil Way, Emmanuel Lama Senegal. There's a lot we could do with this game. But unfortunately, we are not doing enough.
It's just a shame.
Yeah, look,
that must go into the
it has to do with the people around it.
People around it.
They are not doing what they should be doing, though. If a whole board could organize a press conference,
I don't know if you saw it. Ayala, I don't know if you saw it, but I was going through the Kotoko Express app, and I chanced on an interview with Kwame Poku.
Yeah,
Kwame Poku started. What was a part of the interview where he was talking about his love for Accra Hartsville when he was a young boy, and how it all changed to Kotoko, and I put it out there and people were happy with it. But we've got things but we can see, because that is like a huge
whole
selling
story.
It's like a whole story that can fly for the whole.
For the man going to face his boy, the heart of his.
Let me see if I can pick 2 calls. Is it possible?
Pick 2
David,
calls. I have to reach somebody.
Let me see if I can pick 2 calls. Then I'll check you guys your prediction or after all the problems. 0302211691 or 692. If you can come through, call us and tell us what you make of this super clash as we build it up and everything. Who do you want to say hello to?
I want to say hello to your very good friend Nancy Kwansima.
Okay.
Equiame. She's watching the program. She extends her greetings to you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I want to say hello to her this
Beautiful.
morning.
Thank you very much.
She should continue to take good care of herself and
please.
protect herself.
Please do take care of yourself. Let's see if the calls come in. But Ayala, you've been doing it. I don't know. We don't have enough time for you to do. I would have loved you to do your analysis on the board. But who do you think is winning this, Ayala?
Drawn game likely. I think a drawn game likely because you don't know what Coach Bodu will bring on board, and that will mean Korako will be cautious as to watch and observe for a while, and probably come into it. And the time will not be enough.
I've got Iman on the line. Iman is the first call.
I don't see a winner.
Okay. Papa, you have been looking into the skies. I'll find out what the spiritual antics, what's happening there. But Iman is on the line. Iman, how are you doing? Good morning.
I'm fine. How are you too?
I'm great. Are you impressed with what you're seeing around the House Protocol game?
Yes, please. I'd like to speak about the 20 tournament in Mauritius.
Yes, we'll come to that one next weekend. But what do you want to say?
Please, I'm really disappointed about the performance of the under 20 team. I don't know where they keep the players from. It is very disheartening that our Ghana national under 20 is performing as if they are schoolboys, primary schoolboys.
Okay.
In fact, I will let
I'll let you hold your fire. Okay, I want you to hold your fire. They're in the semi-finals.
Okay.
They can go to the finals. They can win it.
To look into the,
yeah, but we'll talk about that next week. No problems.
Those who select.
We'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that next week. Don't worry. Just hold on. Relax. It's fine. Andy, good morning. How are you doing, Andy? Andy, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Andy, how are you doing? Let's hear from you very quickly.
I'm cool, big brother.
Good.
This match, I see it as an ordinary match. It was not in those days when we used to go to the park and the park was so to capacity. We had stars that we were going to watch. Today, which players are we going to watch? So I don't see anything that we are going to even see. The kind of scores. The players are just going to butcher themselves. We will not see that score that we want to see.
Okay.
Thank you.
Last word to Papa Poku and to Chris Van Emden. Who's winning this game, Papa?
I'll go for a Kotoko win. I think they are more formidable.
Kotoko win again. Hasble. Coach Nembe.
1-1. Hasselhoff to score first. Kotoko to equalize.
Coach Nembe, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your time. Papa. We got the last caller. I picked Andy. I think I picked Andy. All right. Thank you very much to Papa Poku for your time on the show, and to Ayala, to Seidu Adamu, the entire team. Mubarak was on screen today doing the social media. You didn't see him?
I saw him.
Okay, that's my name. My name is George Adi Jr. Thank you to David, the man in the background, and to the entire squad. It's Chelsea, Manchester, and you always know it's a good one. You want to say something?
We are winning, definitely.
Please,
it's an away game.
We are back next week with another lovely edition of the show. Till then, be good.